presents are unwrapped. The Christmas dinner has been eaten. And the house is empty save for me and my mother. My younger brother and dad have gone up the field to see to the sheep, and my sister has gone home so as she can have her second Christmas dinner of the day with her boyfriend's family. And so I thought that it'd be an apt time to come and wish you a splendid Saturday. Yes, I do like a bit of alliteration. Tiny bit of assonance. Assonance? No, assonance. I awoke at 6:30 and I'd got a phone call from my father from an hour before, and so I was worried. So come downstairs and he just wanted to make sure the turkey went in. Well, I don't care, I'm a vegetarian, but all right. My mother had already got up and done it, so that was a waste of getting me up, but I showered. And I thought maybe my sister's going to be here earlier than she was, but she wasn't, so I went for a walk. And just down the towpath as per. And weren't many people out. Didn't realise they closed the car park where I usually park, so I tried to turn into it and there was a gate across it, so I had to reverse out and just park on the road. I felt like a proper pleb. I was hoping it wasn't, one of those candid camera moments and I was going to show up online or on the telly at some point, miss out on 250 quid if it were you been framed. These are the books that I received this year. Is it easier to read them that way or that way? I don't know. One of these books came from my manager. A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. Basically, she wanted to read The Salt Path by Raina Wynne, and I mentioned how I was waiting for this book to come into the charity shop because, as we know, I've got into walking a bit now that I'm of an age, and I know that this has him going off on a walk, and I quite liked reading, well, the bits of Bill Bryson that we read at school. When I opened this morning, I was thrilled because it was a thoughtful book, and I like it when thoughts gone into presents. I got called ungrateful today because there were a few gifts that it was very clear I did not care for. But I'd like to, and my brother and sister started laughing because they said this happens every year. And I have to say, it's not about being ungrateful. It's, to me, I would prefer a small present with a lot of thought in it rather than buying me tons of unnecessary presents that I know I'm not going to use but have been purchased just for the person to say, oh well, I gave you something. Either way, I didn't actually make as big a fuss as my younger brother did about some of these gifts, because one thing that I have never thought of as a gift is alcohol. I don't know what it is. We had this conversation at work last week, and for whatever reason I just don't see it as a gift. I don't know. And I mean, my grandmother had sent 6 bottles of beer, and this is the case of just buying loads of gift sets and attributing them to a person rather than going out with a thought of that person in your mind. See, I'm a stickler when it comes to gifts. And the act of gift giving, to me, it's about showing appreciation for a person, so a lot of thought goes into it for me. And I suppose I should expect differently from other people. But either way, it's not what Christmas is all about. So my younger brother had apparently had the conversation with my mother and said Charlie doesn't like alcohol as a gift. And she said, oh, it's not for Charlie. And then it was. Similarly, she'd bought chocolates despite the fact that I have been off sugar for 3 years and I'd been at my grandmother's. So yeah, but luckily I didn't have to have the row, or any row, because my younger brother had it with her instead. But hey, Christmas always results in a row somewhere. I don't know a day that goes past in this house where someone isn't rowing with somebody about something. That's, again, as I mentioned there, the gifts are not what Christmas is all about, although it is what has become synonymous with Christmas. Either way, how's your day going? Have you had a row yet? Maybe you're not even getting to see your family this year, or you're having to steer clear of them due to a current situation in the world which is not fun in the slightest, or is something that nobody requires in their life. I hope, as I hope every year when I say this, I hope that you're having as wondrous a day as possible, whether you celebrate this festive occasion or not, even if you're just having a general day and this is passing you by. I hope that it is wondrous. If you belong to a different religion, then again, I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday, a great weekend. Well, I'm not religious, but I still celebrate the festive season. What I'm trying to say is just, I hope you're having a good day. That's it. That's the whole thing that I wanted to say here, is that I hope that your day, however it's going, is fantastic. I do have another Woolgathering video that is supposed to go up before this one, and I recorded it last weekend. I recorded it when I finally got around to doing my wrap up for the week, but once again this week's got away from me. On Monday I was in work and we actually ended up being more busy than usual. It was a strange one because 2 volunteers had swapped hours because another volunteer wasn't going to be here in the morning, and then that volunteer rang us because her plans had changed, and then when a different volunteer, but we said no, it's fine, somebody's already coming in to cover it, and then it turned out that that wasn't happening either. So all the volunteers' plans that had changed, meaning they couldn't be there, now meant they could be there, so we had to do a ringing round and get them back. And then straight away, as soon as we opened, somebody came and paid £50 for a picture, and as she was leaving 3 hours later, somebody else came and bought a matching picture and then one out of the window. And it just ended up being like that. It seemed as though this week was the week when people were buying last minute bits. And indeed, I'd been into the supermarket that morning for something, but I didn't end up getting it because it was too expensive. And then I sent my mother in for it on Wednesday and they'd already sold out. So I thought, well, there you go, you missed that opportunity. But I don't think I did. I think that I'd have been annoyed the entire time with how expensive it had been, especially if I'd ended up disappointed by what I was buying. It's one of those extravagances that I've seen a few chefs talk about recently, and I thought I might want to try, and then I thought I could not cope with the price of it. On Monday, my colleague invited me out to drinks again, which we'd only done a fortnight before, but she thought because she was finishing for Christmas, it'd be a nice way to do that. So I went to visit my friend Joy at her house in the afternoon, and then went to Poynton to go for drinks with the staff member and a volunteer. Ended up seeing a person who used to volunteer because they were there. And then Thursday, was that the day? Oh no, so I don't know, when did I do Christmas shopping? Oh yeah, I did Christmas shopping on Wednesday morning in time for Thursday. And then, yeah, Wednesday night dropped off a present for my manager and a volunteer. And on Thursday, I have absolutely no idea what happened on Thursday, except we needed to have the presents ready for my older brother to have in Scotland for him and my nephew. So I ended up, this is all because I've not been able to vlog, basically, because it's been so busy. And I didn't think driving along in the dark would benefit anybody again. So I decided that I'd take these presents at about 6 o'clock. Oh yeah, that was it. Thursday I had me booster. That was it, me booster. Once again, no side effects really. Took paracetamol. I had a bit of a sore arm afterwards, but otherwise it was fine. Which means we're now 3 for 3. 3 for 3 injections where I've had no side effects at all, which I just think is a plus because everybody I know it has floored completely. Then in the evening, took all these presents to my brother's girlfriend's mother's house, then decided that I'd nip into the shop because, well, it was now 6:30 at night, but I thought I had this idea my manager might have left a present for me there, and I thought, well, I don't want to go in on Christmas Eve, which was my day off, and I'd actually planned on going and seeing my manager before we got to Christmas, but the whole week went awry. Also, that means that on Thursday I also went into Sainsbury's to do last minute shopping, so that, it's just been busy. So Friday, Christmas Eve, tidying the house, wrapping presents. I was speaking to my friend Charlie, and I said to her about how I had now wrapped everything and all that needed to happen was vegetables be prepared. And I was going to do that in the evening whilst listening to A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, or even read A Christmas Carol, because I watched 2 adaptations yesterday. I was having a fun Christmas Eve. My brother showed up, the eldest one, with presents for us, so we gave him ours. And then my sister showed up with her boyfriend, and they were there till 8:10. I was like, well, we've not even had tea yet. So I had to make tea, and that was 9 o'clock. Didn't even get me Christmas Eve bath I'd been planning whilst listening to an audiobook. Did not get it. Thought it'd be the height of relaxation, that. Didn't get to watch the television I wanted to watch. It was just an entire washout, really. And as I say, woke up at 6:30 this morning. It is now about 2:30. Everybody's disappeared. So technically, Christmas is done. And do you know what that means to me? What I feel like now? Now I feel like I can actually relax. And isn't that sad? No, I don't think it's sad at all. I just feel like I can breathe a sigh of relief now because all the presents have gone, and hopefully the people who got them actually like them. And I'm not in work until Wednesday, so I've got a few days off. The dog's been walked, so in my opinion, I can just spend the evening now completely decomposing in a corner. I have plans to go and watch some of the Doctor Who Christmas specials that I haven't seen before. The day moves so quickly nowadays, and that when I was younger, Christmas really felt like a long day, which I suppose it was because my dad used to wake us up at 4 in the morning to open presents. There was an almost languid quality about it. But now it feels like when it's done, it's done. And the best part about it is relaxing after everybody has been fed with mindless entertainment on the television in comfortable clothes and just forget the world, just say, I'm sorry, goodbye for a while. And as I say, for me, that while is until Wednesday when I return to work. It'll be the first time I've worked between Christmas and New Year in 3 years since I worked Wednesday, I think it was the 27th in 2017. I can't be sure, but it was the Wednesday anyway, and I went in and we didn't really have a single customer. I had to get different volunteers in that would usually work on that day, and I had this stunning realisation whilst I was there that I could have closed for the day and just apologised to head office and said I could have even closed for the day and actually gone in and just tidied the shop because nobody was there. And so the following year, when it fell on a Thursday, I said to my manager, there's no point going in, nobody will be there. Yet she went in and then she ended up closing earlier than usual and staying behind and tidying, as I'd mentioned, because it's just people, it depends on where the day falls. I think that we will have been closed long enough on Wednesday that people will be exiting their houses again, and we'll end up with an influx of donations. But when it's 2 days after Christmas, there's no point opening a charity shop because nobody will be there. Speaking from experience as somebody who's been in the industry for 13 years now, I was so young when I started and I just feel incredibly old. Also, I'm happy to finally have my own edition of The Hobbit because I like this one and I don't have a copy of it. So you see, when I look at these books and in terms of grand hauls, it's not really the biggest book haul in the world, but it feels like each of these books is wanted and will be read, even if I've got to rush through a surprise for Christmas, which I don't think I will. I definitely don't think that this one will have been read by the new year, but that's okay. That is perfectly fine. I also have to tell you this story of my nephew, who we got told this morning he woke up at 1 o'clock, excited for the presents he was going to receive off Father Christmas. And rather than tell my nephew that Santa hadn't been yet, so go back to bed and go to sleep, my brother and his girlfriend just told him it wasn't time yet. And so every half an hour my nephew was asking whether he could open his presents. And eventually, at about 2:30 or 3 o'clock, my brother got fed up and sent my nephew downstairs and told him to open his presents. But I believe that my nephew actually ended up opening everything that was there. And I just think, why not tell the lie that my parents used to tell and just say we'll come and get you when Santa's been? Which I suppose is why we always got woken up at 4 o'clock. However, apparently that was because my father used to get more excited than we did to see us open our presents. Even he had a row today because he thought a certain present had gone missing and it turned out it just hadn't been wrapped. But I think, as with most of us, we have this idea in our head of what will make the perfect day. And if something doesn't fit into that, then we get narked a lot quicker than usual because we have it in our head that everything is going to be joyous and happy. And sometimes it's as I said last year when I was talking, you see, I know I go over these topics again. It's no good to manufacture joy. It's not. If you're not going to be happy, don't fake it because people can tell. And also, it's my parents' fault. You know, I suppose that comes from a lifetime I've been told not to tell fibs. But anyway, that's been my Christmas week. And my plans for the rest of the day are to, as I say, decompose. I'm probably going to have some more cups of tea. Because I'm not the type of person that really cares about having tons of alcohol on Christmas Day. And I'm going to read A Christmas Carol. And then, as I say, the soaps will come on and that's when I'll disappear and start watching the Doctor Who Christmas specials and some Christmas films. Or just general films, because I never get the opportunity. Meanwhile, I'm hoping that whatever you're doing today, and whoever you're with, that you are having as marvellous a time as possible. And just know that folk are thinking about you. And when I say folk, I do just mean me. But you know, I've got enough arrogance. I could think about a lot of people at once. It's all there. So, you know, have a good one. And I hope you got something out of this video, even if it was sheer boredom. Even if you were absolutely dismayed at my behaviour this Christmas. And until next time, that is all. I should just say that after recording this video, I remembered that I had 2 gifts off Emily of Novell Novels, which were these 2 books here, and a pen, and this little Kit Kat creation, which I didn't know was a Kit Kat thing, and I didn't know it was available, but it's small enough that we might try sugar for the first time in 3 years. But yes, thank you very much, Emily. These gifts are very well received indeed. I'm grateful for them, and one day I will get some presents to you in the post. Merry Christmas.